Seak Claus Winkler. I'm an artist. This is an art performance and an artwork as well. Let me film myself. Hello. Yes, and I'm here in my showroom, or one of my showrooms, showing my art. And I'm freestyling this. So, I'm painting since I'm a small child. There's lots of different perspectives on seeing my art. And they're all valid. So I can interpret or I can contextualize my work on so many levels. They're infinite and they're all valid. And also on a maybe intellectual level, if you want to use that word, and they can separate. I can give you the graffiti writer like from in the scene perspective of my work or from my work. I can give you multiple or infinite versions of the artist, the painter, like a studio painter perspective. I can give you the conceptual artist's interpretation from my work. I can explain you this on a subconsciously indirect perspective from a political point of view within the overtone window. If you know what the overtone window is, it's like the amount of what you are allowed to say and how you can manipulate that, la-di-da-di-da. I can tell you this on a sublime interpretation level, which makes the art perspectives look very superficial, which is obviously poison for the art market ears, because they claim the authority about perspectives. Then I can give you some investment, marketing talk, blah, 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 interpretation for my work. I can give you political pro-white or anti-white perspective. I can give from my art. I can give you a 4D or 5D chess perspective. Everything, they're all valid. I can give you from a technical painterly point of view the perspective from my art and the why I'm doing this and how it can be interpreted, or from a parental childhood perspective, or from what kind of triggers in my past, from being a child, a youth, and then a young adult, to an adult, to an, I hope so, mature adult perspective. I can give you a blue pill perspective or a red pill perspective, an NPC perspective, because the multiple, of course, as well as other perspectives. I can give you a perspective from a pure body, repetitive, super simple, obvious perspective. That's a lot of perspectives. Unfortunately, I don't have a proper working teleprompter version working because I don't want to pay for it. So I have to freestyle all these, and which is a bit, it would take a long time, and it also would, especially when I go into history and like obviously things like names and how I interpret words. Oh yeah, I can give you the perspective how I'm steered on words and names and how I took up words and played with them and how that affected me. But the thing is, I would then also, in a few cases, would end up in being in a territory which isn't so legal anymore, especially when it blends into politics and manifested by law history and stuff like that, or can be framed like that. But this is just one aspect, this is one aspect of many how to see my art. There's also perspectives which look or sound intellectual but actually aren't, because if you then go into certain buzzwords and deduct them deeper. There's also the perspective how my name suggests one thing and it creates the very opposite. Like, for example, I'm painting here in Latin, is it Latin or Arabic letters, the Western world letters, while people in this part of Europe had already runes. So, what am I promoting here? Liberalism? This is like, there's so many levels to this. Or maybe this is a form of escapism. This is also in perspective. Like, I'm basically escaping or practicing while I'm painting escapism and not participating in the world, turning my back onto the world outside, listening to some audiobook or music or a history documentary, whatever that is, while I'm painting this and digesting or creating something which I'm doing while I'm listening to, like, auditive escapism. Because the thing is, this doesn't look like escapism, there is no other world which is, there's a landscape and a horizontal line, there's nothing like that. So to frame this as escapism is difficult because it doesn't look classical nice as escapism. So is it maybe manifesting or anchoring myself, my thoughts, in color, in form, in nuances, or maybe am I creating items which basically are inspired or based upon things I like and I'm really attracted to? Or am I trying to anchor myself within my own name, see Claus Winkler? Like I always should take up signals from outside, and I'm trying to stop myself in anchoring myself with letters like S-E-A-K, which are happening in my name, in the word Claus Winkler, to then give me some kind of like being off, being calm, being able to focus and to be with myself. Or am I trying to comprehend my awe, my appreciation, my overwhelmed positivity for things I like or which created an awe feeling? Like, for example, when I was in puberty, the leftist, I would say anti-white movie Star Wars, which I didn't identify as such, with all the spaceship and everything. In hindsight, retrospective, Star Wars was an anti-white psyop to keep whitey and the boomers away from protecting their land, opening it up, and nudging the boomers onto, that they get exchanged, replaced, if you will. I'm not going in with that words like death, remigration, emigration, replacement. They all start with an E, and they first have an E, and then they have an A, like the word Seak. But I mean, if you take a look at my childhood drawings, they speak already a language, and it's. I mean, from the act itself, it's a form of escapism. I'm sitting here, I'm painting a Seak style, S-E-A-K. This has the look of the Wehrmacht or like the German eagle or some Western world white country eagle in a way. It should be like this, but it's like shortened. Then the act that I'm painting this, I'm turning my back onto society and the world around. In the beginning, obviously also because the normal German mono, when everybody was white and German in Germany, was boring on the countryside. Also, there were dangers, like when you were like alone, should protect yourself. While already in the cities were like Turkish gangs dominating, and it was dangerous for Germans there too. It was also boring then on the countryside. Plus, everything interesting was wiped off. It's just the system. So toy shops where you could look at scale models, at comic books, at models, at play toys, everything. That was the interesting part, or in movies. So I'm painting myself this, some kind of like, okay, window shopping is one thing. I'm watching on illustrated packaging of cool military or toy models or toys, whatever. I paint that affection for all these things myself, and filter that, and creating this world on my own. Especially then when I played computer, I realized I can't, you become one with something. It doesn't work. It just goes with playing computer with a certain degree, and then that's it. So I created myself my own world. While I'm, for example, I also drawed a lot and sketched a lot in class when I was a student, or in the Realschule. It's like middle level high school. Also as an escapism, because I didn't want to listen to the teachers. Boring, didn't care. In history, I already knew everything because I was reading books all the time about history and injecting myself into the time of the Civil War, the Cabinet Wars, or especially everything with sailing and ships and maritime things. Because my parents also had a boat, like a Jollenkreuz, a small sailing ship with a little cabin. So I appreciated already this being on a ship, sailing, being away from everything. So I maybe emulated this with drawing in a way, and also having there a flow situation. By the way, this is the front side. I started this painting maybe 2001, 2000. And since then I'm painting it. Here's also ball pen and everything. And it's still in progress. And now we take a look here. By the way, the AI was discussing with me fiercely. She was trying to keep me away from mentioning that you can buy this, invest into this artwork, to then also do a white flight into regions where you can live among other white people in security, or not insecurity, in safety in terms. Because that would take away from my art, blah, blah, blah. She was like talking like a globalist, trying to gaslight me. Well, I can't, this is YouTube, It's, so anyways, so it would take away from my art, la-di-da-di-da. The word Seak, it communicates, or it is connected with all these problems, it has an Americanized vibe. Just from that word, I could go on for that. Maybe I should just tell you things which brings you into collecting my work, instead of bringing you on the wrong thoughts of interpretations. On the other hand, by the way, if you invest into an artwork from me, we can also talk about a further deal on explaining my work, or in particular, I'm giving you multiple videos, or we make multiple videos together, where we interpretate my work. That could be a fun thing. You can also stay anonymous with this. It could increase your the value of your painting you have from me, or the paintings. And we can make it in different versions, so we have different perspectives. And we can also take up counter perspectives, which contradict each other. So this is the backside. I started this backside, I would say, like I said, the canvas I built was probably around 2000, maybe 1990, something like that. I started it in 2000, maybe, around. I started the backside, the side we're seeing here right now, painting, I would say in 2013, 14 maybe. And since then it's growing, maybe 2012, I don't know. And one thing is trying to make or collect on both sides, this goes also with some other paintings, as much different possible ways painting my style, my letters. This is like, for example, these are A's, small a. Also this, which looks like a large Marge Simpson hair. This is a large S. Like, so there's all kinds of things. I tend to make two less K's because it's always difficult for me to create a K because I'm steered by the sound of the K. You know, the K is like the K, and then directly the R, the realization, which is really difficult to stabilize yourself while drawing it because it makes it extra difficult for you to draw that letter. So I kind of faked the funk and painted lots of easily spray painted K's here. But it's not the same as if I create them very complicated in my style and construct them. But you see here there's also different versions of the S, like this version with spray can and then later with brush, then a rough version with a brush and just a little bit of further brush work. I'm trying to collect in my paintings as much different ways of me, or from me, painting my style, my forms, my visual language. I rocked the world of many graffiti artists in the late 90s when I became famous with my style, or more famous, in magazines and then on websites, and mesmerized them with the mixture of how my style is, as well as in connection with how I spray painted it. This is from an art history point of view. I kind of like like in my political views, when you have here the overtone window, like here's the middle, there's a conservative, there's a left, maybe there's on the far left, because there's no difference here, and then you feel like the far right here. My political views are somewhere a few meters there. In fact, I hardly can't see the overtone window. I need like an how do you call that? Where you watch the other planets. I need that to see the overtone window. The point is that I lost the point now on what I wanted to say. It comes back. I completely lost the point on the plot. With famous and inspiring other artists all around the world. I'm very progressive from an artistic point of view, which like when you see like the graph scene in the 90s was very conservative, and I became like super progressive in the way I painted, and which created lots of hatred in the graph world, or jealousy or envy or anything. It's probably with everything. But in my political or societal views, I have a different opinion. But of course, I had fun or intimate fun with all kinds of how do you call that, ethnicities. So. But that was interestingly, and I never thought about having children with them, which is kind of crazy. I could make a whole video on how literally stupid I was in a lot of things and completely brainwashed. But if someone, would criticize me for it, why didn't they told me or washed my head? Where were they? So. Anyways, this is the topics. So let's focus on the art. So this is all painted or developed in sketchbooks, of course. Then I painted them on walls all around the world, which is like you're going into that world, into the urban environments, and paint there. Of course, then it was more white people. Now it's more mixed, or more white people are the minorities. That means in those areas, depends if it's safe to paint there or not, I don't know. Why should I there? Why should I invest my energy? There's also the question. Yeah? I'm just being polite here, or having a sock in my mouth or cotton in my mouth. The point is that, and now I'm taking myself since 2005 or 7 back from society into the studio. Also because it's not that valued in society, Like, it wasn't like that people were like asking me, hey, I love your Seak styles. Here are 10,000, 20,000, whatever amount of money. Paint me this, enlarge on my wall. I value it, I celebrate it, do what you want, It wasn't like that. So I realized also that people doesn't have any taste. At least, of course, you can try to educate people, but are they able to pay you, or do they have the financial means to pay you, or reason to pay, invest in you, in your work like that? Or is it trying to make photos here. Or is it that, I literally realized, I thought it would make sense to paint in public, but people didn't pay for it in a way. Depends also how the area is and the walls. It must look good on the photo. Then it takes ages to paint a really nice painting in my style with all the details and stuff. And then you also want to leave something behind which is forever, means on canvas, and wants to be taken serious as an artist. And then counter-strike belittling games or maneuvers from others, like from non-artists or from the art world. I also, so there's different reasons why I started focusing on canvas. Also, I could go on for that. This is nice. I'm really mesmerized with the quality of the camera here. It looks awesome. So, let's turn it around again, just to see here the painting. So, did I mention? I mentioned in the beginning that there's like endless amount of possibilities how to explain my work from a different context. The question is, what does people want to hear? And the people who then, in the end of the day, bought my work, at the end of the day, sound like HT doing the Darnell character. There wasn't much talking. In fact, it was pretty superficial. The art buying, and it was like, when they would do like a little exhibition here, like someone tapped on the shoulder, okay, so Sylvia or the person said, yeah, I want to buy this or that work, la-di-da, that's the usual thing. Or people that contacted me directly, and then, yeah, okay, and then that's it. It was, everything was pretty short-timed. But sometimes I was also exhausted and didn't want to keep on talking. I might also say, the question is also, I don't know, like with me being awake again on what's demographically happening, with Caligari, Morgenthau, what they're all doing. It's a different situation. So yeah, I'm just making photos here. This could be like interesting to. Trying to get good photos for the video. So yeah, like I'm keep on painting for a world which stopping to exist while I'm on other things you don't see here on YouTube. I'm trying my very best to do something to preserve us all, which I don't want to mention here, because there's the people who are the most cautious and most motivated watching those videos are not the people who love my work or want to support me. I guess they are the people who are trying to get me, which is interesting because I was always criticized by my parents. My father, you always think someone wants something from you. When my name suggests that someone is trying to get me or anything, you know. So there's also this perspective, you know. I mean, anyways, so like for me, this is also painting something like this, or putting something else here into the foreground. Okay. Don't want to overwhelm you now visually. Okay, like this. Is also, wait, does it work? Yeah, it works. Just a second. Does it look good on the? There you go. Interesting. Oh, my head. So, I mean, it's like, in a way, these are letters. You know, it's all letters. I mean, this is not a letter. You know, this is just an element I took or developed from my letters. But like a simplified version. It started as letters in terms of, and then I kind of like mutated it into letters which look like objects, like spaceship, like the must-have item you as a boy, as a man, as a human being cling to. You know, if you think, oh, this is childish, yeah. What's your 500,000 euro or 50,000 euro Hublot clock watch, your wrist piece you're wearing? Is that childish too? Or you're super cool, respect, loving it, a Midgardsmesser knife for 400 bucks, which I really love, and I can't wait to get my first Midgardsmesser knife piece. Or your, name something, yeah? Like forming that perfect item. So this is letters, but they're letters for me. You see maybe something totally different in that. This can be also like a spaceship. For example, this S can look like a freighter, tugboat, spaceship, which can hold like large containers which are round shaped and now flies to get a new container. You know, it can be anything. It can be, it's like this thing in between, and I wanted to create something where it's something, it's like the middle ground from all those things you want to have, also your favorite spaceship or weapon or vehicle from your favorite sci-fi movie or for your favorite computer game, while it's my letters, while it's like some kind of weapon or watch or identity or self-item projection piece. I don't know, I want to say that in English. It's the first time I'm doing it, I guess, like this in a way. I'm just connecting now with thoughts I had like 25 or 30 years ago, or 35 years ago, not 35, but 30 years ago. And that's the thing this developed. I mean, a K like this is obviously more a K, which looks like a K. But with this, it's just a small a. Here the S. Okay, it's also like looks like an S, or this is like a crane, but it's also part of the S. So you can have like this is the S or this. But the more I'm morphing the letters, and the less they look like letters like this, it's still an S, okay, but it also already becomes like something else, like a special vehicle or stuff like that. And there's also the mindset behind it. Like when you, like from a childhood perspective, you learn, there's so many different tank variants and versions are super cool, blah, 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 blah. So many stuff you can discover. So you create like a similar world of things which are from the same basic model or structure, but then vary it and differ it in all kinds of different things. And that's a really beautiful way of also getting, you can collect thoughts and you can collect the paintings or the items in the paintings, and that gives you control. Because what I learned about, this is also the middle part here is nice 3D, you know. Usually I'm making like this, or like this, or like this. But here, this part, well, I mean with the small e, I'm also doing like this. The thing is that like people collect things because they want to have control, and they lack control, you know, like the classical collector is overwhelmed with how crazy the world and everything is. Beautiful, huh? It's completely overwhelmed and wants to sort their thoughts, and because the world is turning fast, everything is changing. I'm becoming a minority in the village, like not just because I'm also ethnically, I'm becoming the minority, or as a European, I become the minority in the village I've been experiencing the first years of my life. And yes, as a child, I already reckoned this problem and also painted paintings like this. And I did also mentioned it also in videos. For example, I painted this from two sides. This is like the oil version, very simple. Has also its charm. But usually I paint both sides are in my classical style, but I'm also doing stuff like this. There's so many directions I would love painting. It's a challenge to, so I'm occupied anyways. I can keep on do my escapism, practice my escapism, but I'm also, in Germany we say, ich mache mich gerade. Because there's no more reason to be in Germany we say there's a Systemling, like someone who's like obedient to the system and talks like an NPC, walks like an NPC, behaves like an NPC, denying his own self-preservation. Systemling, you know, it's like someone who is, So there's no reason anymore, because the demographic, the boomers, they don't give a flying about anything. Maybe they start getting a little bit wakey a little bit when they get afraid of their children's children, if they have any. So why should let's keep it. Should I paint runes inside my painting or anything else? Or just keep it in that typical style and variate that, you know? That's a question, you know? I mean, those paintings they look finished if you what's the English term? Bribe me, shower me in money, and invest in my work as a trophy investment, passion investments for my craftsmanship of painting them for, this painting is the foreign side is from 1990, here it is. I've covered this because there's my telephone number. I still have the telephone number since 96, 97, so old school. It's a mobile phone. And this paint side is I started this in 2013 around, and still in progress from this side. The other side I keep like this to keep it historical. Why I wanted to say this was investing, to do some escapism. I mean, this doesn't look like escapism, but it is in a way. But there's also other things like realization, transition, power. There's different emotions which my artwork can trigger in you, also reflection. and that comes also because of my name and how my name, Seak Claus Winkler or Claus Winkler or Seak, lures in the blind point of your awareness, but it works and it steers. And in connection with the painting, it will do something with you. So yeah, this is a large or a K. I painted this like maybe 2 years ago. And here's a K from 1990. Oh yeah, my work drills everything through. Like for example that I put up my snot and everything, that's because it's literally triggers you, steers you onto anything and makes everything and anything getting late in terms of not getting late, but getting late in terms of, men, women, everything in between, humans, animals. It's like an AK which was like constantly on automatic fire in a way, if you want to see it like that. The thing is, I can paint my paintings or art. It can suppress your sexual energy, or it can increase it. But interesting paintings. You can also paint paintings in a certain color scheme. Not scheme sounds like scheming, and a certain color setting, and it's interesting, and it suppresses it or amplifies the erotic energy. But I never thought about too much about it. I painted like I wanted it, and it's. Yeah, and this, for example, looks already pretty, I don't know, they all look kind of the same. And would say realizing this, and if I would keep on painting this painting, or continue this painting, I probably would try to educate myself or steer myself to come up with different ways of painting my letters here, in different techniques, different styles and nuances, so there is enough variation to make it more interesting. That was the original thought I had, to compensate the fact that I have no sense for composition, no conscious classical sense, whatever classical means. That's also an effect when you paint a lot fast and quick. You are in one flow, you're one thing, and then you paint like multiple paintings, and then they all look the same. And if you then interrupt yourself, paint something else, or maybe change the media, then you can come up with a different flow and a different aesthetic. Yeah. So how does this look from the main side? Let's switch here. Wait. Also. I like also pieces like this, It's the question of how to invest my time, and the day I just have 24 hours. And I'm painting the pieces myself, so there's a natural limitation. And these are basically large sketches, because this could also be like a skyscraper. I'm coming from, I'm sketched these styles, as you see here, and developed it in small. But this is all, I'm used to that. I'm like this size. This is my normal, or like this size. This is what, and let's say I'm like this, and I would paint something like that. It's faster and easier for me to paint it in real life, where I'm like 2 meters high and this is like 7, 8 meters, then I'm painting it this small. Painting it this small takes longer. And painting it large is more fun. But I'm also not a couch potato, maybe I am, I don't know. But it's also like, you have to go outside, this, that, and then maybe I came up with the perfect excuse of staying at home and painting them at home, not having to. But I also also traveled, like I was saying, so far it was around 28 countries where I was invited for painting and painted walls, canvases, but also mostly walls, but also did exhibitions. And I loved it in all those countries, and I was in Italy or Spain or Mexico or the USA, or I was like, what am I doing here? What am I doing in Germany? Am I crazy? Like it's like, how brainwashed am I that I'm staying in Germany these days? But there's also a responsibility for my history, my culture, my folk, my people, my kind. Plus, all those other countries are effed also, which is also the reality. Just trying to make some photos here. Plus, I also want to have children. Of course, German children, and lots of, because the people who are out of controlling, suppressing opinion, and watching this movie out of these reasons, they and their political followers which inherit their NGOs or whatever, they still need someone who is guilty in a few years, right? You need people the system needs the guilty, the bad guy, I'm sounding like Scarface. Shout out to my homies in Mexico and the people I've met there. Yes, so 42 minutes. I'm humble because I just want painting, like I want to have the painter skills and grow into being as good as those 1970s, 80s spaceship, paperback, sci-fi legends who paint this super awesome, realistic spaceships, and I'm far from that. In comparison, I'm like an 8-year-old with crayons. But This is basically a small A, but my subconscious, like the ball, a hole, lower serif, upper serif, but it also looks like the Seak rune, the Sovelo rune, or the electricity bolt. And this is unconscious, subconscious, and I realized this, and there's no lie in the lying. I'm just maybe like, I don't know, 7-8 years ago. And why I'm so connected with electricity and that bolt is another story. It has something to do with the farm from my ancestors in East Prussia, the electricity Umspannanlage tower standing there next to the road from the village, which I saw in the 1990s, and there was still so there's different interpretations for what I'm doing or what we are doing. I have to be a little bit greedy or jealous with my informations I'm giving out here, because that was already long before AI. I reckoned when I posted something on my blog that the people who write text for the other established artists who work in the commercial gallery system, and those artists usually have lots of assistants who are helping them painting their paintings. They started to read what I was writing, and because they want to make a Seak, Claus, Winkler, they basically then wrote articles in their Spiegel and magazines like this, where I thought when I was reading those articles of other people were giving me those articles, I said, this is like It's like, okay, someone wrote my blog, interesting, you know, 2/3 of that, you know. So, and now we have even AI. So the question is, what should I tell people in my videos which others are not able to use or don't want to follow me? I don't know. So anyways, this all says SEAK, usually in small e and small a. Write me in the comments what you think, how you want to support my work, how you do support my work. Do something in my favor. They deleted me everywhere on Facebook and Instagram and X because I was too pro my own kind. Didn't fit the narrative. Thank you for your support, for your interest. See you in the next video.